If the thought of driverless cars makes you feel a little uncomfortable, what about a self-driving truck? On Tuesday, the U.S. state of Nevada formally granted auto giant Daimler a license to operate their autonomous trucks on public highways. And today, members of the media and industry insiders will get a chance to test out that new technology.
Imagine, if you will, being in your self-driving car, cruising down the American version of the Autobahn at 150 miles an hour. A cocktail in your hand, a little Sinatra on the box, and your karma is broken up by a tractor-trailer weighing about 8 times more than your vehicle, bearing down on you with the sound of a small tornado, and there is no driver behind the wheel. Buckle up, George Jetson, because we're going in. Welcome back, America's car coach, the woman who knows more about everything automotive than your local mechanic, and who will drive the wheels off just about anything, even a Dodge. Lauren Fix joins us. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ed?
Excellent. Always got to drop that Ford Dodge in there. Here we go again from automotive news. Now, we're going to try and bring a different spin to this, because here's the headline: self-driving cars are a lot closer than you think. But then again, there's talk about how it will cause people to lose their jobs. The auto industry's fighting against it. They want to make sure it doesn't happen. But look, Lauren, this is technology, isn't it? Guess what? Jobs are going to be lost eventually, and I hate to say this, but you're going to have to live with it because it can't be stopped.
Right. It's sort of like the advent of the computer. We thought, oh my gosh, who's going to be keying in, all those 3x5 cards that I used to do that, and file them manually into the library card index. No one uses that anymore, and librarians are less and less common, and computer people are, we need less and less of them because of the advent of the computer. So with cars being autonomous, and this technology is already in place in many cases, it's going to be a slow move, but this is certainly something that's going to impact taxi cab drivers. It's going to impact a lot of businesses because of autonomous cars. It may help the electronics business because, believe me, there's going to be a lot of them.
Well, this is interesting because as I read a lot of the articles, I hear that the auto industry and automakers themselves are fighting against it. But that flies in the face of what I'm reading here, because Cadillac has a model out next year that offers hands-free driving. Lexus is looking at it. Several other manufacturers. So what's the truth? Are the manufacturers fighting it, or do they embrace it?
I think they're kind of embracing it, but I think they also have this worry that consumers aren't going to bite. In the case of like Audi, they've already done a drive from California to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Now, on the highways, the autonomous portion does work because usually you're following another car, there's a good amount of traffic, there's markers on the roadway, and of course they don't have the impact of heavy rain or snow or ice covering up all those reflective markers. So that's fine. And in many cases, consumers are okay with that hands-off driving, even with Volvo already using it in Europe. What people don't realize, it doesn't work in city streets. If a child runs out in front to chase a ball, if an animal's in the roadway, if anything happens, someone pulls in and out of a parking spot, especially in New York and LA and Detroit and all these areas where people park downtown, that's where the impact has to be the consumer driving the car. And these are skills that people don't utilize like they should. They already don't pay attention. So it's sort of a 50% good and a 50% bad.
Lauren, you just talked about driver skills, and I got news for you. Yeah, I've seen inside of major cities before, and on major highways, people don't have driver skills now. That's why this frightens me. And here's the other thing that frightens us: self-driving semi-trucks hitting the highway and in Nevada. Like I said, here we are talking about thousands of pounds of vehicle heading down the road with no driver. Does this frighten you?
It does. I mean, this is Freightliner. They're a very top quality brand. They're owned by Daimler. So we know that they're going to be putting a lot of money into this, and they want them to look cool and all that. Here's where my concern comes in. I know a lot of truck drivers. They are very safe drivers in most cases, but anybody driving the long haul gets tired behind the wheel. So you're saying now that, hey, if you get tired behind the wheel, heading back, take a nap. The car will take you when it needs to get off on an exit ramp. It'll send you a signal you can get up and jump in the driver's seat. I'm having some issues with that. I mean, little cars on the road that we want to make lighter and have 54.45 miles to the gallon means the cars are lighter, they're smaller, and you've got this huge semi coming up from behind me and no one's in the driver's seat, or potentially not paying attention or shaving or eating or whatever they're doing. I'm concerned, I don't think we're ready for that yet.
Just very briefly, though, aren't we also looking at the fact that sooner or later they're going to have to put sensors in all of the highways? I mean, I understand it reads certain things on the roads now, but the way I understand it, electronically, you still have to have something in the highway on the line that something has to be able to read. That would be an overhaul of every major road in America.
Well, that would be unbelievably expensive, considering we just spoke earlier in the week about the fact the highways aren't being maintained because we want hybrid cars that don't use gasoline, which is where we get the gasoline taxes in order to fund the repair of the roadways and bridges. So here we are back at this catch-22. You want to have autonomous vehicles, but you don't want to repair the roadways properly because the money's going to a general fund because we want electric vehicles and cars that get better fuel economy. You have to pick a direction here on this.
Where are the jetpacks? Where are the jetpacks, Lauren, please?
Helicopters.
I mean, please. I've got about a minute left here. I'm seeing this now. You and I have talked about Tesla. Tesla's coming out with electricity now for homes, which they're going to go into.
The power packs.
But the power packs, but now I'm reading that they may have to raise money. What's going on here?
Well, you got to remember that in order to build this gigafactory that is going to produce tons of these battery packs, and they've already sold 38,000 of them. Now they're already they had a loss this first quarter. It was 3 times more than expected. It's a huge loss. But they also are taking in, which is I find interesting, $5,000 deposits for their Model X, which is their SUV. So Elon Musk is trying to take all this money as quick as he can, but you have to remember he still doesn't have the franchised infrastructure that other manufacturers have. So he's taking in all these used Teslas that are off of lease, and they got to resell them. Plus they've got power packs. He's got a lot of great ideas, and maybe it's just a matter of investing more money into a company, or maybe he'll just sell it and go live on Mars.
There's that word in there, that phrase. Yep, taking money. There it is right there. LaurenFix.com. Make sure you check it out there. Lauren, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too, Ed.
Take care. Look at the calendar. Check the date. Think back 70 years and let us tell you next why you should take a moment and take a knee on MidPoint.